Hey everyone, it's Rob,
And Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast on everything you need to know about old school RuneScape.
Meet Mer.
All right, so this week, big week,
Actually, big
Yama
week.
Yama release.
Yay!
The Yama Mama has been released. The devil that you make contracts with, for anyone that isn't familiar, is a new duo end game boss with new, practically best in slot gear. So
Well,
we're
it's actually
gonna
a horizontal progression. But
Oh,
we're not going to get into that.
actually, yeah, we actually are going to get into it. We're going to talk about
Yeah, we
everything
are.
the boss entails, including some cool highlights from the day, some
Drops.
mechanics, drops, and pretty much everything in between.
Mhm.
And that should be pretty much all we have this week. Of course, at the end of the episode, we are going to have a Q&A. If you want to be included like everyone else, asking questions, they can be real life or otherwise. Feel free to drop a question on any of our socials linked below, or also go to our discord.gg/boonbape. We have a questions section, and that's where a lot of them get submitted.
Yeah, go do
But
that.
before we get into any of that cool stuff, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going well. I actually my hours have officially been cut, so I did some Yama today. I'm only at 12 KC. I guess I'll see my drops as we go over the drops later, what I've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Seems like an appropriate time. But other than that, I have been just working on CAs. So I only have one Hydra CA left. And then I've been doing random tasks trying to get Hydra again. I was trying to do like a CG master speed time, and I don't know the strat there, so it was not working out. So yeah, working on CAs, but not actually doing any. And working on stacking a bunch of clues. I think I'm gonna kind of think about planning something for the 4-year streaming anniversary in July and like maybe do like a big clue casket opening, but that's still up in the air because I have a hard time planning stuff for a long time. So I'm afraid I'll just open them.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been up to. And then real life, still just, looking for a job. I'm actually a little sad because the job I think I mentioned it last week, that called me and like screened me and were like, we're going to call you for an interview. I just found out that they like put my job application as no longer under consideration. So I'm like, why'd they lie to me? But it's okay, whatever. We keep looking.
Yep.
But maybe I'll stream more. I actually streamed earlier today. I want to stream on YouTube or TikTok. I mean, maybe both at the same time when I stream on Twitch, but I keep forgetting. So I keep not doing that.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. But anyway, how are you?
Pretty good. Just petting a cat, a little goose.
Not a bad life.
Bro, I have a million things to go over for the community stuff.
Oh, I thought you. I was like, what's you been up to? Maple
no,
story.
No, I haven't been doing anything. So the number one thing that I just saw only happened an hour
Okay, you didn't
ago.
tell me.
This was a surprise for both of us. Because obviously a bunch of cool stuff happened. People got pets, people got 1KC loot, everything in between.
Yeah.
I just saw, though, an hour ago.
Did someone get both?
The rank 1 hardcore passed away. Yeah, he died to a misclick under Yama's one-shot meteor mechanic.
Oh no.
There was no outplay potential once he misclicked.
Yikes.
He is deceased.
Was it on stream?
It was on stream.
What's their username?
Their username is Isagi.
I don't know hardcores. Maybe one of you does.
Rest in peace. On top of that, going out like a G, there were many hardcores that went out like G's today.
Oh, I'm sure.
23 hardcore on the Yama high scores, and 3 are deceased.
Hopefully to Yama, not something lame.
Yes, this is obviously a difficult boss, and also it is not a safe death, obviously. So all these characters are permanently off the leaderboards.
I feel like content like Yama, that's like a very valid, good hardcore death.
Yeah, it's a
that's a good way to go.
Out
exactly.
For sure.
You're not playing on an alt starting in like 5 weeks. You are in the trenches playing it day one.
Yeah.
That's valid.
You are playing the game the way it is arguably meant to be played.
Exactly. So respect.
As much of a G way as you can go out.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
All the hardcores.
Unfortunate. Also, there's honestly a ton of stuff to go over. Like a bunch of really good memes I saw. Really cool.
I'm seeing some while you scroll.
I gotta go over the fact that I think the pet looks sick.
Really?
The pet looks sick.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
Doesn't it just look like Yama?
It kind of looks like Yama, but like the beefed version.
Oh, is that a
Yeah.
picture of it? No,
Uh,
that's a meme.
no, it's a meme. Yeah, it's like the big dog version of Yama, but small.
What?
Yeah.
That's cute.
It
Okay.
actually looks super sick.
I haven't. Oh, it's a very detailed pet.
It
I
is.
like it. There's a little
His name is
NPC.
Yami.
Yummy's cute. There's an NPC in it called like Yama's Judge or something, and I wish that they'd make a transmog of that because I think it's like kind of creepy looking.
Big creep.
Yeah, big creep, just like goose biting on my headphone or my mic.
Yeah. Also, I guess I'll just do this update now because it's kind of interesting. Originally, you could not get the pet.
Well, we're gonna go over that in the blog. Do you want to wait or say it now?
Well, I mean, it's one of the first things that they do go over, so I figured we'll just like kind of talk about it right now.
Yeah, there was conspiracy theories. People were afraid, like, do you have to get it on contract? Yeah, that was a thing. They updated it because people were not happy.
Yeah, it wasn't even a conspiracy. Like the
No,
people.
but people, it wasn't confirmed at first. So people were like,
Well, maybe not at first, but
yeah, people were like, I feel like you can't get the pet.
you people quickly got contracts through various means, and one of the rewards was a pet that would be, or it was a demon that would be contracted to you forever. And
That's a pet.
which is a pet.
That's a Bible pet.
Yeah, and so
Make a transmog maybe a contract.
well, it's not
thing.
viable. The thing is, a lot of people didn't like that it was skill locked.
I'd say, I would argue to say it's skill locked and Bible. You can just buy it and keep sending it until you get it.
Well, yes and no.
I definitely still think it's skill locked.
I know I see what you mean, but like also you can just send the boss perpetually. So I guess
I think I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of like a transmog though being unlocked that way.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's skill, and
I agree.
you could just buy a bunch.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't even think about that.
not regular pet. That's weird.
Yeah,
I'm glad they changed it, but sucks for everyone who probably got like, I don't know what time they updated it. They wrote this blog at 6:20, so that was several hours after it came out. So 6:20 in that evening, but that just
Their
means like
time.
people could have like hundreds of KC by that time.
yeah, definitely a lot
I
of
would
people.
be pissed.
A lot of people missed out on pets. Since then, obviously they reverted it. They quickly put in a hotfix, making it so you can get the pet naturally through drops. I don't know
Yes.
what they did with the contract or whatever. Maybe they just removed it, but yeah, you can get the pet through normal means.
They'll talk about it whenever we go over the blog.
Besides that, though, other people did actually a ton of work. A lot of people. This seems like a lot of people were doing this content, or at least there was a lot of content made around it.
I was just in random worlds, and there was like a billion people just standing outside of the chamber.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, and I saw like multiple people that are on my friends list.
Oh
kinda
yeah,
cute,
for
yeah.
sure. And there's a lot of people still doing it. They did add special Yama worlds for now,
good.
like temporary Yama worlds. So if you're looking for a partner, you can go to those worlds, or if you don't have a Discord or something that you like going to, then you can try just one of the random worlds.
You guys can also join our discord.gg/Bunebape and see if people want to join.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee, but I'm sure that there'll be people looking for duos. That's the hardest part about duo content, though, is being like, I don't want to ask a bunch of people to go with me.
Yeah.
Same with raids. Sometimes I would just like not even raid because I didn't want to ask people.
Yeah, I think that's a big blocker for a lot of people.
Yeah, we have social anxiety.
On top of that, there is a bit of content for skillers, so that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, there is.
Yeah, and someone did a bunch of calculations. Shout out to Drunkbeard69 on Reddit. Good name. They did a bit of the mining. So if you are just a skiller, or if you just want to do a bit of mining, you can make some money while doing it. Not a ton. They also teach you tick manipulation and stuff like that, which is the first time
The game does?
Yeah, it's the first time ever in the game.
Wow.
It actually just straight up teaches you tick manipulation, or at least introduces it to you.
That's cool because I don't really know how to do it.
So someone did the math, they did a bit of mining and they got some shards, which sell between like 4 and 5 million at the time when they made this post,
Wow.
which by their estimates, based on how many shards it takes to make a plate, which takes to make nuggets and, all the transformations all the way up to a plate of actual armor, it would take around like 1.5 bill for a piece of armor. One piece.
One Piece, like
The
the show?
One Piece, yeah, exactly. So obviously, I don't know how much the actual oath plate is trading for at the moment, and it might even be more or less than that right now, probably less.
It's
but,
hard when stuff first comes out. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, but if you want to get some money while mining, that's probably more than the normal amount. Then you might want to, take a bit of time and
Yeah, I'm
try
sure
out,
a lot of people don't want to go to the boss.
try out some Yama mining.
It is really fun though. I would highly recommend trying out the boss.
Yeah, it looks super cool. I think it's probably one of the better looking bosses.
I think you like it a lot. There's a lot of mechanics. It's a little frustrating at first, obviously.
Yeah,
Well, obviously for me, I always get frustrated learning stuff. But I was able to get a KC after like 5 attempts. My second attempt, we almost got it. We're on phase 3, so that was kind of exciting.
true.
But I enjoy it. And also, if you don't want to go to Yama, but you like TDs, you should go and get Synapse right now. They are worth a lot because purging stuff's pretty much necessary.
Yeah,
Is the verdict.
synapses are all the flippers are laughing because this was kind of like predicted.
It was. I don't know why I didn't buy one.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd use my shadow, but then everyone's like, no, you need it.
Yeah, it was kind of predicted that the claws were, or like some demon bane stuff, obviously, like both of those were being traded highly before this boss.
It sucks because I bought a Synapse a few weeks ago for like 40 mil just to do a Krill CA. And then I sold it and I bought it again today for 74 mil.
Nice.
Yeah, it's okay, whatever.
And the last community showcase, I mean, there was a lot of really good memes, really funny memes and stuff like
course.
that, or, you know, people getting 1KC, whatever's. But randomly enough, this last one is not even about Yama.
Okay.
This one, I've never watched this streamer, so I don't know if they're, you know, a great streamer or not, but I'm going to shout them out because they gave content to the sub this week.
Okay.
At their dismay, honestly. So they're a hard, or no, they're not a hardcore. They're an iron
Okay.
at Tormented Demons, and they got a Tormented Synapse.
Okay.
Perfect timing, right? You know, they're going into potentially Yama. They're an early account,
Yeah.
and so he like is either shocked, amazed, in awe, or doing something for the video, but he leaves it there for a while.
No.
And someone comes up and swipes it, bro. It was great. Yeah.
Okay.
it was perfect.
Moral question. If you are at TDs, I feel like this probably must happen at Firewatch a lot too.
Yeah, probably.
You see an iron clearly AFK, their expensive drops on the ground. Do you pick it up or do you try to get their attention?
The thing is, unless you do right click lookup, you don't know they're iron.
Yeah, but maybe like, you know, they typed in the chat or something. You know they're iron in this situation.
Oh, you know they're iron.
You know
in this
they're
situation.
iron.
Then
I would type something.
Yeah, then I mean, I'm taking it if I'm main.
Wow. Even if it was a main, I'd probably type something.
If I'm main,
I couldn't snipe it. I'd feel too bad.
if I'm main, I'm taking it.
Wow, really?
Yep, that's the name of the game.
That's crazy.
You
That's
should
the
have been-
main of the game.
You should have been paying. That's the tax. That's the AFK tax for real.
70 mil.
Yeah,
And they can't even drop trade it back to them or anything.
yeah. And this person in this case knew that they were an iron. They had been typing. The streamer's name is Yiskadista.
Okay.
I've never watched them before, but yeah, a lot of people were making memes on it
That
because
sucks so
it
bad.
was such an OG classic moment. But the way it happened, you know, he was cheesing for the camera, gets swiped.
Don't get too hype. Pick up your drop before you get too hype.
Yeah, a lot of people in the comments are like, I've seen this a lot. I don't know why people wait for so long.
That's scary. I
Yeah.
hate that so much. I would say something.
If you think about it, that's kind of like drop trading.
They drop trade on accident
Yeah.
without intending.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a ton of stuff. I'd recommend checking it out if you want some laughs. Honestly, I think the memes were really good.
Yeah.
Besides that, there was a little bit of drama on server.
Oh, they don't mention that.
On server
Not as much.
release or on update release. There's supposed to be a restart. It was supposed to be a restartless update. So they should have just been good to go, like normal. There was a bit of downtime.
Yeah. I heard that it was mostly with the Jagex launcher, right?
Yeah, there was a bit of downtime, and the Jagex launcher didn't work for kind of a while.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
I did see criticisms because people like obviously want to go for world first and they're
Yep.
screwed.
And because you're like low key these days, especially forced to go with the launcher, you're kind of just like
That's
SOL.
super frustrating.
Yeah. Also, before we get into the rest of this, because we probably it's just better to fit it in right here.
Sure.
The poll from last week passed.
Oh yeah.
So 1 hour clues are still in
And
as
stackable.
and stackable. Both passed the
Nice.
way that we wanted them to.
Well, the way you said
Unfortunately.
that we wanted.
Yeah, well,
Not you
because I
big
said
people.
they passed. Well, I mean, you know, technically the first one didn't because it was a majority no.
We are happy. You guys can go screw yourselves, is what Robert's
Whoa,
saying.
Calm down.
I'm pretty sure that's what some people think you say every week.
Yeah, exactly. Only 20% of people wanted to revert back to the 3 minute over the hour.
That's about how much I expected.
And still nearly 76% voted to leave it at 1 hour.
Yeah.
So that's still a vast majority. And
what about stackable?
a huge majority voted for stackable.
Really?
87%.
It's so funny because the minority is very loud about that. I was
Yeah.
actually super unsure.
And
That's pretty funny.
Both of these percentages are higher because this includes the skip.
Yeah.
So that is cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad it worked out that way because that's the way
That's the way I wanted it.
that's the way I wanted it. So yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, we can get into the update then.
Yes, let's get into the update.
Okay. So Yama, the Master of Pacts, is out today. We're going to start actually with an end of the day blog update. So this, like I said earlier, Wednesday, May 14th, 1820 BST. So been out all day. Before signing off, we want to check in with you all and give you a quick update on Yama and his pet in particular. So we already went over this a little bit, obviously. We'll be meeting as a team tomorrow to talk through general feedback, and we'll be keeping an eye out overnight. So please keep it coming. It's been wonderful to see so many of you getting stuck in, sharing your thoughts, blah, blah. Keep this available. We're going to update with hotfixes. Anyway, moving on to the pets. Similar to the contract system, generally, we want to experiment with the idea of a skill-based pet in old school. A flex cosmetic that you can show off regardless of content, regardless of gear setup, evergreen evidence that you're a gamer. That's just a transmog. Just do the transmog like in TOA.
The thing is, I think that already exists.
Yeah, and I think that's also just the TOA transmogs. TOA's not even luck. You just have to actually just do it correctly and you'll get it.
Yeah, no, yeah. TOA is definitely a version of that. But also, I think just like there is hard content in the game. If you have Soul Heredit, you're good at the game.
That's true.
If you have the Inferno Pet, you're good at the game.
Yeah, but
like straight up.
I get what they mean because, you don't get it automatically.
Yeah, it's like I get what they mean, but it's like you just, if you have the pet here, chances are you're not completely trash at the game.
Yeah. So this meant the pet was not obtainable outside the specific contract. Having seen your discussions on the topic, it's clear that this is a non-starter, and for some of you, it is setting a precedent for exclusively buyable pets. And it's important for us to act sooner rather than later. So they immediately enabled a hotfix that enables pet rolls. Both players inside the entrance will roll for the pet, so long as they contributed at least somewhat to the kill. As for the contract of familiar acquisition, assuming that was the pet contract, we'll be adjusting it so that provides, you didn't know this, I don't think, it provides an increased chance of obtaining the pet. So naturally, with the delay between now and the contracts being activated, there's potential for us to make further tweaks if we feel they're needed.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know if people will like that or not.
I think it should just be a cosmetic.
I think it should be cosmetic. I think that'd be more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now if you get it, no one will even know you got from the contract.
Honestly, I feel like that's fine. I honestly think it'd be cooler. I just thought of this, where like a piece from the cosmetic was collected from each contract. So it's like, oh, you've completed this content. Here's like
every contract.
Yeah, here's like a cosmetic change for the pet.
And it's like a little pair of sassy heels.
Yeah, it'd be the same as like if you did like every TOA, not at the same time, but every TOA no, invocation.
I'm just imagining once you got all the TOA transmogs.
It's just an amalgamation of
pets. Or like a mutant of all the pets combined.
Yeah. That'd be sick.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah, that's definitely not it.
Yeah. So sorry to everyone that did not get pet rolls. I would be so upset. I'm glad I waited. I also didn't start. I woke up at 6:30 this morning. I did not go to Yama until like 1:30.
Yeah,
I think I was procrastinating because I don't like learning things.
They didn't do this change for a long time, so there was like at least like 6 hours of no pet chance essentially.
Yeah, that's upsetting. I hate that.
Yeah.
We do have some other hot fixes we can go over.
Yeah, so there's an issue regarding combo rune crafting. It's been hot fixed originally. I think there was actually a few of them, so I don't know which this one is in reference to, but apparently it's been fixed, whichever one it was.
We're aware that an earlier hotfix for powered staves may have resulted in issues with the special attack functionality of powered staves that can autocast, but don't have an autocast spell selected, namely the volatile and eldritch nightmare staves. They are still investigating this.
They're also investigating reports that some powered staffs are not dragging players consistently at places outside of their range. For example, at the Great Ulm, which...
So you have unlimited range?
No, it will not move you.
Oh, you just don't do anything?
Yeah, your character just stands there.
I thought it meant like you just, it probably says like you can't reach that.
Because like whenever you're running ahead, like obviously anyone that like has ever used movement like Wook style stuff, it requires you to do the dragging technique.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
This has been fixed though.
We're aware of an issue where drops are not despawning in the Infernal Shale mining area. That's been hotfixed.
And also, they're aware that the solo instance for the GIM will trigger prestige loss warning. There was a hotfix already for this, but it was just a warning. You didn't actually lose prestige.
So no one actually got screwed over by that.
Yes, for the solo. Just be aware, though, you will lose GIM prestige if you go with someone else.
Of course. We're aware
Not in your group.
We're aware that Briofita's staff can't alch anything unless nature runes are inside the inventory. This has been hotfixed.
Also, Oathplate shards appear on the collection log, but not under the Yama section.
I did notice that because I saw Wraith got one, and then I was looking at like the collection log, and I was like, it's not even here.
Yeah, it's somewhere else. They're gonna change it.
It's probably in
soon.
the other tab, to be honest.
Yeah, it'll probably be part of a cold fix. They haven't fixed it yet, though.
Yeah. The Ancient Mace is not providing boosted prayer points when used on the POH combat dummy past the player's current level. That's been hotfixed.
Also, the contract for 2,000 Aether Catalyst incorrectly said Cosmic Soul Catalyst.
The OG name.
Yeah, it's Aether now.
So that one actually, no, it's still gonna be cold fix.
Oh, cold fixed.
So Diabolic Worms cannot be added to the tackle box. Also cold fix soon.
And the Yama pet is missing from the All Pets collection page, but that'll be cold fixed as well.
Cool. Okay, we can get into the actual update.
True. There is a pretty cool video to kick this off if you are more of a visual learner. It kind of does a little bit of a breakdown of this blog and the boss, kind of.
I didn't notice in the thumbnail it shows the new rune. It looks kind of pretty.
Yeah, it's just
It's like a light blue circle with like a little starish, like light yellow. I don't know. I like it. It's pretty.
I think it just looks literally like a watermill.
Oh, it looks like a wagon wheel.
I was like, it doesn't look that cool.
Never mind. The colors are pretty.
Yeah, the colors are cool.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Yama today, obviously.
Oh yeah, that video is RuneScape Chronicles, by the way, if you want to watch it.
Yeah, and we will pretty much discuss everything, starting off with how to get there, because you got to get there to actually fight the boss.
Yeah.
And it's in Corinne.
Yeah, it's in the Chasm of Fire. No one really goes there.
No.
I went there when I was working on 99 Slayer a lot because you can cannon the demons and just stay under the cannon so they don't hit you. So you could AFK.
Yeah.
Not for long because you have to keep refilling the cannons, but it worked for me because I was lazy. So to get there, you're going to grab your Draman staff, or if you're cool like me,
Yeah, I would just do Book of the Dead.
No, you have the Lumber's Elite Diary. You don't need the Draman staff, is what I was going to say. Go to DJR, and you're going to be right next to the entrance.
That would be the best.
You can do Book of the Dead, but it's not going to be as close. Same with the Xerix Talisman.
The reason I mentioned Book of the Dead or Cardist Memoirs is because not having the elites probably would have chose that, because then you run past,
you don't have to.
You run past the bank, so you can deposit the book.
Yeah, true.
While going to the Chasm of Fire. But
Imagine
DJR is
not
closer.
Having elite diaries. Yikes.
Imagine not being maxed after saying it 3 years ago. Crazy.
Anyway, side note, you have to finish what's it called? What's the big Kingdom Divided quest?
Yes.
To actually have access to this boss, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you should have that
Probably
done if you're this far into the game.
Yeah. It's also pretty close to like the little train station. What's it called?
The train station, the railroads. The cart tracks.
That's another way to get there if you want.
Yeah, it is kind of far from that, but yeah.
Yeah. So once you're inside the chasm, you can descend towards Yama. Players with level 83 agility can easily navigate a long spike chain to get from the top to right next to Yama immediately. If you're not quite there yet, if you have 73 agility, you can go and you like drop down from a gap and then jump over something and circle around. Honestly, I got lost because I had HD on and it's so dark in there with HD.
Do you not have 83?
I didn't see the green for the agility. So I went to the 73 and jumped the gap and fell down the gap, jumped over the other thing. And then I was like, where do I go? And I was so confused. And Guine, shout out Guine for teaching me how to do Yama, by the way, was like, tally back to DJR and follow me. And then we just like clicked like 2 buttons and we were there. And I was like, okay.
Even if you don't have 83, you should have 73. Chances are you've done Sarah, which is pretty close. So even if you have 73, you can still do the boss. But it is an agility requirement, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, they did recommend that you do that 73, though. Just they said it's a scenic round. They thought it looks cool.
It's cool.
I might check it out later. We'll see.
Yeah.
But once you get down there, you're going to find the voice of Yama. He's going to give you a piece of his mind, but if you can withstand his sassy attitude, he'll teleport you to Yama's domain where you'll find the demon of the hour.
Me.
Yama is an interesting fight, by the way, because it's not a real fight. He's just like, do you want to fight me?
Yeah.
And you're like, sure, because he's just like cocky and is like, whatever, let's do this.
True.
And whenever you restart the fight, even he's just like, you did all right. Let's try again. I think it's very interesting. Unlike Giant Mole, where you're chasing her, she's fighting for her life.
True. That actually, that attitude kind of reminds me a lot of
Versic.
in Path of Exile.
Oh,
There's a boss, and I forgot what his name is, but he essentially is like the owner of this crucible where like you fight other things.
okay.
And you never really fight him until like you get to like the super end game stage, and then he is the boss. But essentially, he just like trash talks you while you fight his guys. Like there's
That's
10
funny.
stages, and like if you make it to like 5 and you're like, all right, I'm getting out of here, the next time you show up he'll be like, oh, the 5-round champion, let's see if you could do better.
I like that. Vedion kind of also like trash talks you,
Yeah.
but like at the end is like, oh no. I like them coming back and being like still confident for some reason, for no reason, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, no, that's what he does in Path of Exile. He's
That's
all
super
like,
funny.
oh, let's see if you can do it again.
I love that actually. That's super funny.
Yeah.
Wait, you know what, when Vedion goes to like the harder part or whatever,
Yeah, the next phase,
he literally says, do it again.
go again.
Anyway, so you're gonna find Yama sitting on top of his little throne, and
It's
no,
actually a large
it is a
throne.
big throne, and you cannot have this for POH, which that could have been a cosmetic for doing a contract. You
Yeah, to be fair, there's already an infernal throne for the
no,
player
it
owned
takes
house.
up the whole room.
It's its own room.
Yeah.
The Yama room.
So he
That
did
actually would be kind of sick.
kind of sick, right?
And then
It's
you
just a
could
huge
like get
throne room.
different cosmetic thrones.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be
So he has a lot of deals on offer, most of which, or all of which, involve facing him in combat. So he's like, yo, you want to fight me? And you're like, sure. And he's like, I'm so strong, bring a friend because I'm going to beat you up. So that's what we can do. That's the lore.
Yeah.
They even say on here because he's so generous or arrogant. To join one of your friends inside the domain, you have to have spoken to the voice of Yama until you can challenge him yourself. From there, rather than using travel option on the voice of Yama, you can use join. So just right click, type your friend's name. You do have to be on their friends list. Unlike Royal Titans, I love this actually.
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah, Yama must be interacted with once you're inside his arena to start the fight. So you don't have to frantically follow the other person to run in. You can go in there and both pre-pot together. It's kind of stressful inside of Royal Titans, to be honest, trying to
Yeah.
get you both set up.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the way it should have been
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like GG's, for example.
Yeah, you have to trigger something
Yeah.
to start the fight. I love that.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that we can move on to for like key notes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned earlier, this is a dangerous death, hardcore and hardcore GIMs alike.
Of course. You can, I thought you were going to keep going.
No.
You can tally out a Yama by conventional means or by using escape crystals.
Yeah, obviously, don't get one shot like the rank 1 hardcore because that crystal will not save you.
Solid advice.
Iron and non-iron accounts can kill Yama together. You'll receive loot. This is not an MVP system. This is a contribution system, just like raids. So unique chances are dependent on your contribution.
It's not like corporate. You're just going to watch your friend and Torvik
Yeah.
get the drops up.
Yeah, deal more damage to get more loot, essentially, but it
Or
is
better
not
chances.
better chances, but it is not mutually exclusive.
Yes, and of course, it's all RNG at the end of the day. You could get pen, Oathplate, while your friend, like, that carried you the entire time gets nothing.
Yep, exactly.
Group iron players will lose their prestige if they do a Yama with a player outside of their group.
Yeah. Also, as an aside, they don't say this, but yeah, expect better loot if you solo, obviously,
sure.
because that's 100% contribution. Just
But I feel like it's one of those things that, I think they mentioned it too, that technically you're getting better loot, but your KC per hour is lower.
Yeah.
So you're making less money.
yeah, exactly. It's really just what you enjoy and if you are okay with splitting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, like you said about the prestige, and also Monster Examine was enabled by default this
That's
time
kind of
around,
cool.
which
Sometimes
is
it takes like a week.
incredibly rare.
Yeah.
For anyone that didn't check it out, he is weaker to slash and kind
Psyching
of
rise up.
weak to, or actually really weak to mage, and then he's strong against range.
Yeah, you don't bring range.
You're not going to bring range, but weirdly enough, he is slightly weaker to regular bows.
Okay.
He
So
actually,
if you do bring a maple longbow.
yeah, I guess, but no, like regular, like T-bows.
Oh, no, I prefer maple longbow.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I guess it would probably be like the crystal, but it's weird because I've never examined it, but they already have implemented the tribrid range stats, you know, for
Oh,
light range, medium range, and heavy range.
yeah.
So he's like weirdly stronger against the other two and weak against medium range, which is
Okay.
like, you know, regular bows.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Yeah, either way, you're pretty much just generally going to be camping mage or
Melee.
slashing.
Yeah, you do have to bring two though,
You do have to bring two.
because whenever you fight the judge, who I think we get to, he's just like a little guy. You just have to like knock him down real quick. He keeps like you have to switch your weapon every single hit.
Yeah.
Unless you're just staying there and letting your duo partner do everything.
But you
Which is
always,
also possible.
for that aside that we're talking about right now, you do always hit max, so it doesn't really matter which one you're doing. If you're camping melee or you're camping mage, it doesn't matter what gear setup you're using, because the other one you switch to will always max hit, from what I understand. So if you're
Well, it's max hits like based on what you're wearing, you know. So if you're wearing more
Yeah.
gear and stuff, you'll hit harder.
yeah. So, well, I guess what I mean is like you don't really
not
technically
rolling,
need
you're
a full switch or anything like
I'm
that.
just doing a 3
You,
switch.
you can get away with very light
But
or no switches.
To be fair, my sight's not hitting that hard because of it, but
Yeah.
whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yama's death fee will be reduced by 75% until you have at least 10 KC.
Yeah, and then all of the new tradable items will be blacklisted from Death's Coffer, which is one of the lamest changes. I still hate this change.
Yeah, they made it so whenever stuff comes out, like Death's Coffer always overpays for it. So
Yeah.
people would like super take advantage of it and like get a drop and put it in and get like hella money for Death's Coffer.
Bro, the thing is, I'm
and they
saying
changed it so you can't do that
if
anymore.
I'm an Iron Man and I get an oath plate and I decide to put it in Death's Coffer, why does that make me? Why is that punishable?
Because they just want to cause more gold sinks.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Yeah. Where was I? All of the new tradable items will be that. Never mind.
Just below.
If you logged out inside the Chasm of Fire, you'll be booted out after the game update. We've changed some of the terrain down there and don't want anyone getting stuck.
And also, we have a handful of worlds, like I mentioned at the top of the podcast, just for Yama. They will probably eventually go away, but just if you are looking for a partner, it's going to be 325 in the UK, 339 for the West, 343 for the East, or for EU, sorry, and then 394 for East.
Yeah. What's interesting is if you're in Australia or Asia or South America, you actually aren't allowed to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
That is confirmed. Also, they said, just to manage your expectations, our internal playtests indicate that our initial aim of one step beyond DT2 bosses was dead on the money. And honestly, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really fun, though. I would really recommend it.
Honestly, I don't know if it's because there were so many bosses that need to be learned after DT2, but it seemed like people got their hands on this boss much quicker.
I feel like it's that exactly because there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
So you're kind of split up more.
Yeah, so 4 times as many people technically, I guess, or 3 times as many people doing the same boss. I guess there's just going to be more of the same outcome. So I guess that makes sense.
I would say parts of it remind me of our Dorvis a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I'll
fast
show you
fight?
later. Well, it's fast at the end phase,
Yeah.
and there's like, I guess you don't know Huey. There's like a little wave thing that you have to like run across,
No,
perfectly.
I've seen it. The black lasers.
Yes, yeah, the laser beams.
Yeah.
You have to run across those and stuff, and also like switching your prayer and dodging other things, and it's kind of complicated.
Yeah,
It's pretty fast-paced.
It's very movement based.
It is, but it's really fun.
Okay.
Moving on to the next section, which is contracts. They actually put a blog out on Friday, but we did not go over that because we had already recorded the episode.
True. So they,
sorry?
unfortunately, to my dismay, they work how Michelle thought they would work.
Oh yeah. So
I thought that they'd be like, "Oh, this is a duo boss. Let's continue that theme." And they're like, "Actually, just kidding." And I'm gonna get into this later.
yes.
I think that was a misstep, making this boss duo,
The whole boss?
the whole boss.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think so because I don't think they took advantage of it being duo.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it more and then discuss.
Yeah. I'll sum it up in that I think there's like practically no actual duo content in this duo boss.
No, there is.
It's considering all of the stuff they could have done, it is pretty much not a
It
duo
could
boss
be
in my
more.
opinion.
But me and Guy were helping each other a lot.
No, yeah, it's a cool boss. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying missed opportunity.
Yeah. There's like a thing with like glyphs, so you have to like stay on the correct glyph. And since I'm learning, I was not. So there's many times I would have died, but thankfully Guy went to and saved me.
Yeah.
And I
besides
let
that,
Guy die a few
though,
times because I
this
didn't.
all the contracts are solo only, and this is a soloable boss, so you're not being gate kept by a partner.
Yeah, which I guess is nice if you can't find people.
Yeah, but all
Play
the
a show off.
contracts, you can't play with another person even if you wanted to. This is all strictly gonna be solo, and additionally, they're not releasing the combat achievements yet,
Yeah.
and we do have one in mind for completing the contracts, is what they mentioned. So you won't need to fork out millions of GP, or you won't
For any
want
contract.
to. Yeah, for any contract. So just make sure, if don't spend all your money on contracts and then do them all right now, is what they're saying, because they
Mhm.
are going to come out with a combat achievement for a contract. So I don't know why they say this. No one's going to
Well,
spend all their money on
I
contracts.
think that they're also worried is people are going to think you have to get a CA for every single contract.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like 7 contracts.
yeah, I
It
guess
will be
so.
1 CA.
Yeah, either way, if you only have a few million, don't spend it all on contracts, I guess, question mark.
Yeah. Anyway, what are contracts?
Yeah, they're completely tradable, and there are agreements that you can bring to Yama. You sign on the dotted line, and he becomes more powerful or challenging for the fight.
Mhm.
And there's a guaranteed reward up for grabs if you prove successful. I don't know what any of these are. I haven't looked into it. Do you know?
No, because I know that at least from their blog, I haven't gotten one yet, and I haven't seen anyone get one. They kind of like, what's the word? They like jumbled the contract so you can't actually see what it's going to entail. I think that they said you'll be
Probably
able
not
to.
until you accept it.
I think until it's out. It's not out yet.
Oh, it's not out
Yeah,
yet.
you can't do contracts until next week.
Oh, I thought these were out.
No, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was confused by some of the stuff you were saying, and I was like, it's not out.
Oh, I thought they were out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out. It's gonna be out next Friday. So
Okay.
they don't, which I think that's actually very valid. They don't want basically to screw over irons who want to go for worlds first and don't have contracts.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I forgot what I was saying, so I'm just gonna read this. There are at least 7 bespoke contracts at the moment. Yama will show off more of his power regardless of what contract you've signed, but each bespoke contract should change the way you might approach the fight fundamentally, and each of them offers a different reward. The reward is fixed for each contract, and you'll know what's at stake before the fight even starts, meaning complete this version of the fight and you'll walk away with this. And they are not make the fight slightly harder and unique, slightly more common kind of system.
Yeah. Each of the contracts are going to have a very specific additional reward.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it's going to be oath plate armor.
No.
It might be a
And
pet.
I say additional. They don't say additional. I'm assuming you still get the original loot chance at the boss plus whatever is guaranteed on the contract.
I would guess so, right?
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they
I don't think they clarify that.
if they remove the loot from the boss, and then the contract would have to give you a ton of loot in return.
Because otherwise, what's the point if you can't even get oath plate or pet or anything?
Yeah, exactly. Either way, I'm guessing almost certainly some of the contracts are going to guarantee shards, and just like high alchables and stuff like that. But they don't say, obviously, like we said, they're not out yet. But all of the loot is going to be the same every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if there's one you like more than the others, then
You just
hopefully
keep going for that one.
it's the one that gives you good loot.
So to be clear, Yama in his base form is the intended experience and is how the overwhelming majority of players will engage with the boss for most of the time they spend engaging with it. Contracts are an extra added layer of spice on top for players wanting to push themselves. But the encounter, its rewards, and its time to complete are all built off the base experience first and foremost. So we already went over this, but the kicker with contracts is that you'll have to take down Yama by yourself. This is not the intended experience. This means no getting a friend to carry you. This is interesting logic, by the way, coming up.
I don't like it.
I saw a lot of people that did not
Foolish.
like this.
So foolish.
More importantly, we want to steer clear of figuring out how to handle 2 players with the same contract. Do they do the fight once and get a reward each?
So
do they have to
simple.
do the fight twice and risk falling out if one of them underperforms in the fight? How do Irons players factor into all this? We think the easiest path forward to avoid friends potentially having adverse interactions with each other while fighting what's supposed to be a fun boss is making it solo. I
So
don't think that's the
dumb.
real reason. I think the real reason is they couldn't figure it out. They're not going to say we didn't do it because you guys are going to mad at each other because Tob exists.
Yeah, that is so foolish.
That's weird.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't want you guys to fight. What? Have you ever played RuneScape? People are going to fight no matter what.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. But to be fair, I don't know how I'd want it to work with the duo.
I think it should just work exactly how it works now, including a contract.
You know what? I will say that I think being carried in Yama would actually be really hard trying to stay alive.
Maybe. But
I don't
even if,
think that you'd like You maybe wouldn't deserve the cosmetics, but I don't think it's as drastic as they're making it sound.
Yeah.
Because as it is now, like, even with like Gyne doing a lot of damage in my first few KC, I am fighting for my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not hitting that much.
You know, it's really tough to say, especially considering we know practically nothing about these contracts right now. But
I don't even know if like there's details out. I have no idea.
but obviously right now I don't really see a problem if like it's just two options. Like you either okay, so you have the base version and then you go as a duo with the awakened version, and then it's like one of you has a contract. Okay, they get the bonus. Or obviously you get the same loot as normal. You do the fight same as normal. Or obviously with the extra mechanics, and then whoever did the contract gets the bonus loot. Or
like
and
that.
then maybe you could have another option where if you both have a contract, you both get the bonus loot.
I'm okay with that as long as you physically have a contract. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
it's like as long as
valid.
you're destroying the contract, because that's part of it.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned this, but you don't get them back. They're
Yeah, of
gone
course.
forever. So whether you die or do it successfully, they're gone forever. So it's not like you're not giving up anything for this chance. I don't get how they couldn't figure it out.
They do say at least. So this gives me hope that perhaps we're wrong on this. Recent conversation suggests that the jury is still very much out. We're open to adjustments once people have had time to get to grips with them. But for now, we reckon this is the most sensible approach. To reiterate, we are, in bold, open to adjustments down the line if they felt necessary once you've gone hands-on. They said to reiterate because they know we don't read.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have been much more, and I don't play games with people, and I still feel this way. I would have been much more on board if it was the other way around. If they're all like, all right, cool, we have the weaker, easier version of the boss. Go ahead and do it. You can do it solo. It's recommended for players.
That's kind of how wilderness bosses are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're
Where
single
it's like,
player.
we
if it's
recommend
easier.
bringing a friend. You know, it's designed for two people. You can do it solo, and maybe it's, you know, around DT2 bosses, you know, DT22. But if you want to get the real version of Yama, then you got to do it with a friend, and you have to bring a friend
That could be, yeah.
it's a duo boss.
Yeah.
Like that's what I don't like now is you can't advertise a duo boss and be like, technically you can solo it, then it's not a duo boss.
I don't know. I don't think that it's easy to solo it though by any means.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like in my head, there's a big difference between something that is suggested to have a certain amount of players and something that is requiring of a certain amount of players. Where like no one hates the fact that you pretty much can't solo top.
Some people.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Like you can obviously people have done it, even hard mode, but it's like no one cares. I guess it would suck for some people to be gated by the fact that, you know, there can be you know, like duo requirements. I don't know, or make it like more difficult or something. Like the fact that you can solo it and then now it's required to be soloed, I think is so lame.
I agree. I honestly think of this as something that they'll change and they'll make it duo at the end.
It's yeah.
I like your idea. I mean, if you have the contract, it should count.
Yeah, it's so lame. I can't.
People are gonna get
Honestly,
carried, but
I can't wrap my head around their methodology for saying it's a duo boss and then it
and
literally
not being a duo
being a
yeah,
duo boss.
it's definitely weird.
Insane.
They do go into something that I just said I don't know about. So here we go. With today's release, you'll be able to obtain contracts and see what the rewards are, but Yama has jumbled his terms. That's what I was trying to say. So they're going to be revealed when contracts are turned on next week.
Oh, so you can get them.
Yeah, you can get contracts.
You just don't know
use
you don't
them.
know what they are. Okay.
Exactly. So I mean, now might be a good time to sell them if you get them because more and more are just going to come to the game.
Yeah, I'd recommend getting a bunch now, and then Friday, whenever it's revealed, that's actually Memorial Day weekend, so you might have some more time to do it.
True. Yeah, they're aiming for Friday, May 23rd. Obviously, you know, that's up in the air if anything's like messed up.
Yeah, and
Which
also
stuff gets
that's
messed up.
obviously for US people only.
Yeah. So the added benefit, or for UK people for Friday.
No, I meant US as in Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah.
Unless the UK has Memorial Day
True,
on the
I
same
didn't think
day,
about it.
which would be weird.
The added benefit here is that you get Friday and the whole weekend to grind or watch the chaos unfold for yourself and some time to get to grips with the core mechanics of the fight, similar to the late activation of Awakened variants for DT2 bosses. You
Yeah.
also couldn't get Blurb immediately.
True.
All right. How do I get them, Robert?
In a really really weird way.
There's
in my
actually
opinion.
several ways, and only one of them is that weird.
Yeah, I think all of them are pretty weird. But anyways,
Who's just killing the boss?
we can expect to passively accumulate them and on your way on ticking off the collection log. So obviously doing Yama and stuff like that. So alternatively, you can also target farm certain contracts with a lower intensive method if you're just fighting Yama. So you can either get them from fighting Yama just passively, or you can do the lamer way if you just want a particular one.
I will say, this way sounds like it'd be nice if maybe you're waiting for a duo partner to come online.
Yeah.
And you want to be doing Yama stuff, stack up on contracts.
Yeah, it's very simple. There's a bunch of demons in the Chasm of Fire, and if you kill them in really peculiar ways, then you have a chance at getting a contract to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And so to keep you on the right track, Yama will display a glyph, not a gif, a glyph.
A little SpongeBob gif over his head.
Yeah, so he'll be like, all right, I'm thinking of stars. So then you go over to the star and then kill demons you don't have to go over to it, but you kill demons in a particular star method, and that will drop contracts specific to that symbol.
Yeah, they do go over the different symbols later, but we'll read the blog in order.
Yes.
So the target farm method is here for you if you're looking to chill out and stack up some contracts for yourself, or if you use up all your stash from Yama and still need a couple more attempts. Though it's worth noting that some contracts, particularly those with guaranteed and tradable rewards, can only be obtained from Yama and will not be available from the common Chasm cannon fodder. Hate how they said that.
Yes.
They must mean the one that makes the pet more common. You definitely are gonna have to fight Yama for that.
Well,
I
it's
think
tradable rewards.
you can still buy it. Oh shoot!
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what I'm like. No,
They are tradable.
I'm guessing.
It is a buyable pet. If they did it that way.
No, I think maybe the pet one isn't buyable. I'm not saying that. I was saying like maybe the ones that offer big things like shards.
Yeah.
Like maybe those only come from Yama because that would be cooler.
So it only comes from Yama unless you're a main, in which case you get the GE.
Well, no, it says
No, they're still tradable.
No, it says oh yeah, it's still tradable, but it only comes from Yama, so you have to have done.
But I think that all of the contracts are tradable.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I meant is, it's you have to get from Yama and for some of these contracts, unless you're a main, in which case you could buy them from the GE.
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess I was saying like the ones from Yama are still going to be way more sought after if I had to guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're probably gonna make more money at the GE.
True.
So an added benefit here is that doing a Demon Slayer task in the Chasm should be more appealing for players who just want to sell contracts. Even if Alma is out of your reach for the time being, you'll still be able to benefit. On top of this, it's an easy lever for us to tweak and make more or less rare if the balance feels off, so we'll be keeping a close eye on these entering the game.
I think it's kind of
I'm alright with that.
yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
And I mean, they actually go into this more here. I kind of like this point.
Yeah, so one thing they'll share is that for contracts for the cosmetic upgrade, this is the white radiant oath plate. It can be obtained from these demons, so it's not going to be one of the expensive ones.
Yeah, so what I like the most is they're going to be in greater supply than Awakener's orbs. So it's not going to be tons and tons of hours like just getting orbs to have an attempt at Blorva.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot more chill.
To be fair, that was only ever a problem for irons.
True, but they're expensive even for mains, to be honest. So it'll also be cheaper because more will be in the game.
I mean, really, you only need one.
Okay, you know what? Shut up.
The system does share some similarities with Awakener orbs and stuff like that. And while rarer contracts will guarantee some kind of tradable rewards, that will make them more than worth the initial cost, meaning it doesn't feel like it's a waste to keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So they're also really excited to see you push the limits. And obviously, that's whenever the contracts will come out is when they'll check them out. So they are going to, I don't this last sentence makes it seem like they're going to sponsor a bunch of people to do stuff or something because they mentioned the RuneScape category on Twitch and Kick.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that now they're mentioning Kick too. I don't think they were happy for.
Yeah, it honestly, maybe there's going to be like drops or something. I don't know why they usually don't call out watching streams during new content.
They've been partnering with content creators more.
Oh, sure.
So maybe they're giving a little shout out because, they're going to have them like come and help them out with stuff too.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. All right, so moving on to Yama rewards, and it's the next day, by
Yeah,
the
it's the
way.
next day.
I don't have anything new. I haven't even
I
gone
thought
back.
I thought there would have been some changes, but not yet.
No, not even hot fixes. So
No.
there probably just gonna be more changes next week.
Yeah, or probably just right after this comes out, like
That's
usual.
usually how they do it. They're out to get us. It's fine.
But without out of the way, we can probably check out some of the rewards.
Yeah. So first is diabolic worms. That's what they call us. These fiery critters will be a welcome addition to any high-level player's tackle box. So bring these with you to Piscarilis instead of sandworms and use them to catch anglerfish at a significantly faster rate. But there are some slightly less simple details. First being that diabolic worms are always used before sandworms. At level 99 fishing, your chance of a successful anglerfish catch increases from 14% up to 40%.
That is
Significant.
really high.
Yeah. Once a diabolic worm is consumed, your next catch roll has a 50% chance to occur a tick faster.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. But XP from catching anglerfish is ways reduced as they're easier to catch and you're learning less in the process.
I think it should not be reduced.
I think it should not be reduced either.
You're getting it from, a high-end boss. Sure,
Yeah.
it's tradable, but you're getting it from a high-end boss, so it's probably going to be, at least kind of expensive for bait, and it's not even like insane rates. Like the rates currently are like 19K an hour or something. Like it's a laughably low amount.
How come I haven't gotten one yet?
No.
Oh, I thought you meant the diabolical worm.
No.
You got 19,000.
No, the rates for XP for angler fishing is like really, really low.
What I'm assuming is because it's faster, you're still going to be getting more XP.
Yeah.
But like, I just thought that was kind of weird. I did not look up how much the XP
I don't know
is
how much
then
it
and
is,
now,
but I feel like if you're
kinda
just blasting only using the diabolic worms, it should be close to like at least 40K.
yeah.
Because you're still getting outpaced by barbarian fishing.
You know,
at
it'd
that
be
point.
funny if we just like didn't realize and it was significant XP.
It's like
70.
80K. It's the new best in slot method.
And we're just like, you know what? I just don't like this.
Because if it was 2 times, it would be around like 40 to 50K, which would be pretty. I think that'd be pretty close. If it was 3 times, that's too high.
Yeah.
Because it says 2 to 3 times. So I don't know.
2 to 3 times sure. Okay.
Yeah.
The XP would correlate with how many you catch, so never mind.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, if it's around 40K, that'd be cool. But obviously, we'll see. Let us know what you think about the XP rate so far, if you've been able to do some.
Yeah. Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, so this next one is going to be for rune crafting. It's the new rune, the Aether Catalyst.
Is it Aether or Ether?
I've always say Aether. Ether is, for me, it's just E. It's not AE.
Oh, yeah. We already have didn't we have something with Ether in like the wilderness?
I don't know. I guess it kind of depends because you could say Ether as well.
Oh, Ether's what I say. Never mind.
Yeah, but anyways, this is Aether, AETHER. And
Catalyst.
so these are stackable catalysts. They're tradable rune crafting resources, which you can use to craft Aether runes. This is a brand new rune. It's a combination of cosmic and soul runes. If you're 90 rune crafting, you can craft these by bringing the Aether Catalyst, Pure or Dale Essence, to also soul runes and a binding necklace, all of this stuff to the cosmic altar. Obviously, there is no true soul altar, so you have to go to the cosmic altar.
Oh, the one in Arceus doesn't count.
Does not count.
Wonder if that's something we're going to get. I'm sure we'll get something like that eventually.
Use magic imbue from the lunar spellbook, and then you can use your soul runes on the cosmic altar to craft Aether runes. Eventually, we're sure you'll be able to craft these in the traditional sense, but we don't have the true soul altar like I just said.
Oh, I didn't read that part. I think because I was interested in this drop.
Yeah. This is really cool though. A lot of people were really excited about this because this is one of those things where if you have this in your bag, there's almost no useful, if you're on lunars spell that you can't use. But and on top of that, you can charge your shadow and use lunars.
Wow.
I think that's what it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I think it's chaos and soul. But you can still use on your shadow if you want to for whatever reason.
They are gonna go over this, but for shadow, Elidness Ward, Soul Bearer, Ring of Shadows, and your POH portals, you can use these in place of soul runes and stuff like that. So if your charged staff uses soul runes or whatever, you can charge it with Aether runes just the same.
Personally, I would wait until they are not so expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're not and this is just
Yeah.
what you're going to be blasting for a while, then you can do that.
Very true. Aether runes can also be traded to other players and crafted while playing Gardens of the Rift, and they'll be crafted in higher quantities if you're wearing Raiments of the Eye or using Scarred extracts. So
Yeah,
go definitely use the outfit. So that makes a big difference.
yeah, 40%, dude. It's a lot.
Next up is Death Charge upgrade. I actually got this job.
Nice. This is actually really good.
It is really good. I completely forgot about this. We have a RuneScape podcast. Doesn't mean I retain any knowledge in my noggin once we're all done recording.
That's why we read it out loud.
That's why we read out loud, because I just forget. I got the job, didn't even know what it was. So the Rite of Vile Transference is an untradeable scroll that can be obtained from Yama. Once read, your Death Charge will be able to convert 2 souls from slain enemies into special attack energy. As it is right now, you have a minute. If you kill something, you get special attack energy. You have to wait till a minute's done to use the spell again. So now you're able to get double the special attack energy.
Dude, I have a really heinous thought that I just had.
Let me finish reading.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the cooldown starts on spell cast, not once you've killed an enemy. Remember that. So this should always be an upgrade. Despite being untradeable lock, this one is fairly common and does have a pay drop mechanic to prevent you from going too dry.
Yeah, it just makes it straight up twice as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about it.
Insane. So yeah, I mean, twice as much money for your runes as well.
Oh yeah. I was thinking it's just like for a Raxer, like I really rely on that, like killing the little mini spiders.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I'm like, it's gonna be so nice if and when I ever get a Raxer task again. Maybe I will.
Yeah,
hopefully.
honestly, I think that'll be really good because, like, I mean, that'll help a lot because it restores. For anyone that doesn't know, Death Charge restores your spec.
Not all of it. I think it's like
Not
20%
all of it.
or something.
Yeah. It's an amount. I think it's like 15, 20%, something like that.
It's not a full spec worth, but
Yeah, but now that you have 2 of them,
It
it
is.
is a full spec worth for a lot of items.
yeah.
So I mean, like, you can use that at like demonic gorillas or pretty much any task.
And while wearing Light Bear, even better.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
That'll be huge.
Wait, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Okay, at the risk of losing every single listener at this point,
Sure.
the Rite of Vile Transference, saying that,
Sounds like an STD kind of.
you said that, and it reminded me of, you remember that old meme of like that little boy, and he's like messaging like a random person online about like pooping back and forth forever?
Yes.
That's what that reminded me
That
of.
is a Rite of Vile Transference.
That is Vile Transference incarnate.
Cool, I hate it. Next up.
Yeah, we have something not so vile. It's the demonic tallow and surge.
That's a little
potions.
vile.
It is slightly
Isn't that
vile.
like-
I mean, it's literally in a vial if you think about it.
Yeah, but tallow, isn't that like fat?
Tallow is animal fat.
So it's just like scooping fat of his body.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of big goopy masses, then you can trade the demonic tallow. That is actually how they describe it, not me.
No way you said, this is not my fault.
Yeah, I didn't do shit. So long as you have level 81 herb lore, you can combine the tallow with unfinished Torstal, and you can drop your own blood into it, which you don't actually have to make this. It just will automatically take your life, I'm guessing, like, HP.
It'll take your life. It'll
Not
kill you.
your whole life. I mean, maybe it will kill you.
You're at one hit point, you're like, I really need this pot.
Yeah, exactly. So once you combine all those things, it'll turn into an untradeable surge potion. So this is strictly for the skiller gamers, like no non-skillers allowed. Just as you'd expect, the prescription goggles.
Making it is. I thought you meant the potion itself. And I was like, no, it's definitely for PVM.
No. You can't buy this potion, is what I'm saying.
Wait, really?
It says untradeable surge potion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see
No,
that.
that's what I'm saying. You have to be a skiller in order to actually get this like new
Wow.
potentially best slot drink.
Okay, cool.
So just as you'd expect, though, the prescription goggles and the alchemist's amulet also work here. So that'll turn you into a 4-dose, and also I forgot what the goggles do. They have,
I
like,
do not remember. But the Alchemist Amulet gives you a chance of your pot being 4-dose instead of 3.
yeah, and
That's all I know.
the goggles, I think they have an increased chance of you
Not using a
not
secondary?
using a
something?
secondary. I think that is what it is.
Might be making that up.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, though, this will allow you to make the potions as best as possible. So if you want to, save as much money as possible when making these, because you're not going to be selling them, you're just going to be making them, then make sure to equip all that stuff.
You're going to want to make them, though.
Yeah, so these potions you can sip once every 5 minutes. That's it. So you're not going to be able to like,
Chug it.
yeah, you're not going to be like blasting specs after using this because it'll restore 25% of your special attack energy.
So cool.
Like I said, once every 5 minutes, and this will persist through logout. There's no way to cheese it.
Yeah.
Also, they say the cooldown will reset upon drinking from an ornate rejuvenation pool, leaving a raid, leaving the Fortis Coliseum, or dying. There is no other way of like,
Beating
changing
this.
it or anything.
Yeah, they also say the cooldown does not tick down between waves at Forest Coliseum or Inferno, or between rooms at Tob. Dying between rooms inside the Tob and Tomb of Masquerade rooms does not reset the cooldown either. So you have to truly wait the 5 minutes. Be careful when you time this.
Yeah, like if you're at Inferno or at Fortis and you thought you were gonna try and like do some tricks,
Some
maybe,
sneaky stuff.
maybe you can, but if they designed it correctly, you're gonna just have to sit there behind the pillar and then like wait for 5 minutes or something. But yeah, so that's the drink.
Next up is the Soul Flame Horn. So while some bits of group content do a great job of giving players roles to perform, most of it devolves into you and your friends doing the same thing you always do, but together. But do you hear that? Now we have a horn, and it's gonna save the day.
I've heard it actually is kind of lame sounding.
Oh, really? I haven't heard it, like the noise.
Yeah.
I wish it was like, "Rah." Oh, you know what I wish it was Goose's noise where she goes, "Rah."
Oh, okay. I wanted it to be like way more majestic, like they're blowing the horns for like in Lord of the Rings.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
But I thought you were gonna say wow, so that's why I rolled my eyes. I was
Oh.
disappointed.
No, Lord of the Rings, dude.
I don't. I mean, I'm just imagining a lot of horn noises in my head.
Oh God. Shout
Um.
out.
Anyway, I bought this, so
Let's check the price right now.
let's check the price. So I was talking to Hedron and watching No Monkey stream as well, and they both got it for like 50 mil, and they're like, "Yo, we recommend everyone buy this." I even DM'd Hedron. She's like, "I would buy it because it's probably gonna go up." Supposedly, it's still good. I've heard, but I got it for 127 mil.
I mean, you gotta look at it, dude. Someone bought it for 500 mil.
Yeah,
the very first
purchase.
one.
I'm sure someone actually bought it for max cash and is just not tracking it, to be honest.
Maybe.
It's now worth 56 mil. To be fair, earlier today it was worth 70, so it's kind of just fluctuating.
The thing that you have to think about is, and we're looking on GE Tracker, which isn't 100%, but it's pretty close. You have to look at the buy and sell quantity, the demand.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, there's not enough to meet market demand.
Yeah.
It's actually a 1.5 times.
Profit?
No, it's a 1.5 times value. So for every 3 people that want it, only 1.5 persons.
Shouldn't that make
has
it cost more?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Is it'll continue to go up in price because of this.
Also, it's important to note that it is Thursday, and Yama came out on Wednesday. A lot of people haven't even tried this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do.
So hopefully I didn't waste my money.
we haven't gotten into why it's so good, but I do suspect this will be meta at pretty much every raid in some aspect.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not more already, to be honest.
Yeah, this will also probably be meta in any group slayer.
I was thinking it was probably very foolish of me to buy it while No Monkey on his stream with literally 8,000 viewers at the time was hyping it up. And I was like, probably at least like 300 people watching also just bought it or tried to buy it at the same time.
Probably.
Yeah, oh well.
Also, it's not like you won't get value out of it.
Yeah, no, true.
Because this is a really, really good item.
Yeah, so the special attack, your closest allies within 2 tiles that have the accuracy of their next melee hit splat, including specials, within the next 6 seconds, increase by 100%. If the target is an NPC, the boosted hit splat always hits. Applying this effect to an ally will also apply to you. And it costs 25% special attack energy per player affected. So you can use it like back to back to back, low-key.
The thing is, I haven't checked whether, because if you do affect someone, it automatically affects you. So I don't know if that counts as 2. That's what I've been wondering.
Well, within 2 tiles.
No, that's what I'm saying. It says it costs 25% per player affected, but if you use it on someone, it automatically gets used on you.
I didn't understand what that meant, and I thought you could just use it a billion times. Okay, that makes sense. So there's 4 of you, you're using all of it. I'm assuming you're counted.
Yeah.
You must be, right?
Yeah. So really, it's always going to be 50% special energy.
If there's a duo. If there's 4 of you, if you're in a raid with 5 people, one person's missing out.
Because you can't use it on yourself alone. Yeah. So when you use it successfully, it'll always be at minimum 50%.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. At least that's how I think it works. If it works just per person, not including yourself, then let me know, because that'd be kind of cool.
So they go
That would be cooler.
they go more into detail. You'll be able to configure a radius around you and a maximum number of players to affect.
Yeah, you can right click it and go through these options. So if you
Oh,
only
cool.
ever want to affect one person and it'll always only cost 50 energy, then you can set that up.
I have not messed with it. I bought it and put it in my bank because I'm just maging at Yama, to be honest.
Yeah.
Once used, a special attack consumes 25% per player to boost the accuracy of their next hit splat. That means if you're using like declaws or something, it is only one hit splat, unfortunately.
Yeah, only the very first one.
Yes. So it's going to be 6 seconds by 100% or guaranteeing the accuracy around PVM. This boost applies to regular attacks and special attacks the same way. So you'll find some very creative ways to get the most value out of every ear-splitting special attack. Are we thinking of the armored crossbow in this?
Yeah, it's not very loud.
It's really loud, but okay.
No, I mean the horn's not very loud.
Oh, I thought you meant the armored crossbow, and I was like, no, it's pretty loud.
Yeah, and
I have it turned off.
I don't know if this is a bug or if it's even confirmed, but I did see at least one person complain that if you are standing underneath a teammate, that it may not affect them.
I could see that being a bug for sure.
Yeah, so just be aware of that and definitely set it up, because you do have to be really close for it to actually work.
Yeah. Group Ironman will be able to benefit from this effect if it's used by another member of their group only. Obviously, you can't get this from random people. Ironman can freely buff other players, but can only benefit from other players using it in one of the following scenarios. You got Nightmare, Next, TOA, Tob, Chambers, Royal Titans, or Yama.
Yeah,
I'm kind of surprised they let you do any, but
if they need to update it, they will. But pretty much any actual group content, you can use it on each other, no matter what type of account you have.
Not just like doing Slayer or a solo boss having someone like boost you over and over on your iron.
Yeah, you do have to turn on accept aid. So if you were tired of people trying to teleport you and turned it off at one point, make sure to turn it back on while in raid.
I think it's so funny how much people have accept aid off that don't even realize.
No, I turned it off because people were trying to teleport me because they thought I was a bot.
Yeah, I've only had that happen to me once, and I always have it on.
Yeah,
but it's always whenever you go to the Barbarian Assault, that's when you realize nobody has accept aid on. It just turns off on its own sometimes. I swear it does.
Yeah, definitely not, but yeah, maybe.
I think it does.
So we have the armor, the next thing. They kept the armor design the way it was. That being said, they are open to changing it sometime in the future.
Yeah,
but they did leave it the way it originally was pitched after the small adjustment. And for anyone wondering where it sits, it has a defensive value slightly lower than Torva, but it actually provides an attack bonus to slash, while Torva doesn't provide any attack bonus. It does have slightly less melee strength, though.
okay.
And no prayer.
It still looks good just looking at it right now.
Yeah.
There are 3 pieces, by the way, so helm, chest, and legs.
It does have really high slash defense, though. It's like 300.
I was looking at that too. It's really good.
The other defenses are generally lower than Torva, but its slash defense is 300. It's pretty high.
That's sick. You'll be able to obtain all 3 pieces, of course, from Yama, or you can actually craft them yourself using Oathplate shards, which is kind of a new, interesting thing that you could do.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned at the top of the episode, and I don't know if the price has changed, but at that time, the first day it came out, you were to get around 5 mil per shard, and it took around 1.5 bill to make the plate.
Wowzers.
And that's just for one piece.
One piece.
True. But yeah, I honestly am pretty interested in how high you can get your slash accuracy between this and the slash ring.
Oh, yeah, true.
With a scythe or something. I feel like your slash accuracy could get pretty high.
I use my scythe all the time, so this might be better than Torva for me.
Yeah, I mean,
I could get it.
If you just find yourself camping the site, this might be worth an investment over Torva if you're in the market for either one.
I do want to go over how the shards work though real quick. So these are reasonably common stackable drop. You'll be able to use these in the small skilling area at the bottom of the Chasm of Fire and combine them combine them with Infernal Shale, which we'll get to soon, and smelt Oathplate bars, which you'll be able to smith into any piece of Oathplate to your heart's desire. We expect that if you hit the drop rate for 2 pieces, you should on average have enough Oathplate shards to craft a third. That does not mean if you were spoon 2 pieces. If you hit the drop rate twice, which is probably hundreds of KC. It sounds
like if the drop rate is 1 out of 512, then after 1,000, chances are you'll have enough for 1 piece.
I was surprised that they made it. I feel like that's more common than I expected, to be honest.
I mean, they could be 1 out of 1,000, so
that
would be pretty uncommon.
True, it just depends.
And also, it seems like the boss like how long it takes to kill it is fairly long. So I envision it being 512.
Yeah, I could see that because it was taking me probably like around 4
I was
minutes
about
to
to
get
say, yeah,
it.
like fast kills seem like
Our fast
three.
KC, yeah, our fastest was 340.
I've seen some people get like even with faster Casey, I've seen some people, those same people getting like 5-6 minutes. So it kind of just varies, but
Yeah.
it does seem to be around 4 minute, even for faster people, just if you average it out.
It's all just RNG and how hard you're hitting, of course.
Yeah, of course. And that those times were for like I've seen like 6-7 for solos and it's around 3-4 for duos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
I haven't tried a solo. Next up, Chasm of Fire Amenities, which we kind of just followed or went over a little bit. So players can obtain contracts by dealing with demons in specific ways. We mentioned this before. I think.
We definitely glossed over it real quick, and they have more details here.
So upon initiating combat the demon, Yama will make a glyph appear above their head. The color of the glyph indicates how he wants you to kill them for a chance at obtaining a contract. Additionally, you'll have to check the active contract at the voice of Yama, who will indicate the method you should use for the best possible odds at a given time. If for whatever reason, like you don't know what those mean.
Yeah, this is really arbitrary and none of it makes sense.
They're random colors.
Yeah, so you would imagine green means ranged. Don't think that. None of these colors actually make sense.
Well, because they also put in like a yellow and a purple. Like you kind of just have to make it up at that point.
So there's 5 colors, and I'll try to make it as simple as possible.
Go for it.
So
they're all pretty simple already, but go for it.
Well, I mean, it's not super simple. So if you're using purple, so if you see the color purple, make sure to use a crossbow or ballista.
Heavy range weapon.
Yeah, it can't be darts, it can't be bows.
Mm-hmm.
If it's green, then make sure to use a non-powered staff spell like water or fire surge. They're weak to water though, so probably water surge. Blue is going to be using any two-handed melee weapon. Yellow is going to be killing a demon whilst it's bound from a binding spell, or obviously the spec from the demon weapon, the bow.
That one's the red one. Sorry, you skipped. So yellow.
No, that was yellow.
Kill. Oh, binding spell is part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, the way you said the spec, I was like, the next one's the okay. Well, red is kill with a special attack.
So that's why I said you can for yellow, it's to use a binding spell, but
or the damage from a binding spell.
Yeah, or the damage from a binding spell, or whilst it's bound. That's why I specifically called out the Demon Bane bow, because you can bind with that spec. But make sure.
That's what confused me.
Yeah, make sure to actually kill it whilst it's bound. If it gets unbound at the last second, it won't count.
Cool.
And then red is going to be the one that actually gives you the highest contract, or the highest odds at getting a contract, because it's the most difficult to get, in that you have to kill a demon with a special attack. You can't special attack and then it die later or something, like
just
Burning
use the
Claws.
DDS.
Yeah.
You get 4 attempts.
The thing is, you can't. You got to do your best to not attack in between your specs, because those attacks won't count.
Oh, true.
It has to be the actual spec, so get it as low as possible, and then try to spec.
And hope you don't hit really hard before and kill it.
Yeah. So that's why that one is the highest odds of giving you a contract, because it is a finite resource. It is the most difficult to do.
I bet a lot of people have like their alts there, like doing that one spell.
Also, it might even be like a meta to wait for red and use the double death rush, because then you'll be able to use, try and like blast as many special attacks, use the new potion that just came out to try to like spec down like 3 or 4 mobs before it changes. I don't know how fast it changes colors, but maybe that might be like a decent meta.
I assumed that it'd be like, that one's yellow, that one's red. And it's like, but it might change, huh?
No, it's the glyph appears above Yama. So I'm guessing it stays that glyph's color for a while until he changes it.
No, it says, upon initiating combat with a demon, Yama will make a glyph appear above their head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I actually think yours would kind of be cooler.
Yeah, I just assumed it was a room full of demons, and then whilst Yama had a specific glyph above his head. Oh.
So I wonder how it works, like, if you don't want the purple one, if you can
like
run
mine.
away.
I like mine more.
Yeah, I kind of like yours more too, actually.
Because then you can kind of be like, I'm just waiting until the next one, because I don't have all these items with me.
But then I guess people could get bored.
Yeah, I guess so.
Keep in mind that some of these contracts can only be obtained from Yama himself, but contracts for the Radiant Oath Plate will be able to be obtained from killing regular demons.
Yeah. If combat's not your scene, you can head to the northwest section of the bottom floor and check out the new skilling area. This is kind of what we mentioned before.
It's kind of pretty.
A few times throughout this entire thing. This is going to be a new mining method. it is fairly AFK. It's more towards shooting stars, but obviously just not nearly as AFK, but it's definitely more in that realm, not like iron or something.
Mhm.
So if you are very active though, you can also tick manipulate these this mining spot as well, and they even show you how to do it here. Like they have a video of it, and they actually show you how to do it in game. There's like actually a thing for it.
Cool.
Like they give you like a thing specifically to chisel the shell down and stuff.
Yeah, it says you'll have to obtain a special cloth from an imp down there to get to a different rhythm.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
You do need 78 mining. It is boostable if you want to do that. So if you're like 77 with a D pick, you probably are fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's has everything that you might want AFK as well as very active stuff. So, and also it could be a really good moneymaker if you're at work or something.
Yeah, if you go and get those oath plate shards, save them up for the whole outfit.
Just save them up for the whole outfit, or just make
Probably
some,
take a second.
Quick cash.
Once you've stacked up a big pile of crushed infernal shale and oathplate shards, it's time to smelt it into infernal chunks, which requires level 83 smithing and is boostable. Use the furnace to heat these up, and the pool of ichor to cool them down.
Sure.
Time your clicks properly, you'll be able to chew through them at a record pace. Now, ready those clicking fingers and head over to the anvil.
Yeah, show me your fingers.
Just go to the mining area and try it out. I think it would actually be kind of cool to learn because I'm not good at tick stuff.
Yeah, and there's actually, it's kind of like a mini game. It's not just straight up mining. There are benefits to paying attention. It's not exactly like
Giant's Foundry?
Giant's Foundry. Oh, I'm okay. So it is AFK for the mining part, but for the smithing, it is not too dissimilar from the Giant's Foundry, from what I've heard.
Oh, like in Giant's Foundry, there's a bar, and if you click it then it's the
there,
correct
there
timing.
is benefits to paying attention while doing the smithing part.
Okay, cool.
Which is why they kind of say here that if you're paying attention, you'll get through the bars quicker.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. And there's even opportunity to like arbitrage between the shards to the actual chunks. You can buy the shards and then, do the shell and then, sell the chunks. Kind of like, how people buy the half brewed potions.
Oh, the unfinished.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
half brewed.
yeah. So you can make, there's a few different opportunities to make money here, I guess is what I'm saying.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it for Yama.
Most importantly, other changes. Ooh. First up, similar to Aether runes being usable in place of solar cosmic runes for charging and creating items, other combination runes, for example lavas, can now be used for either their respective elemental runes to charge or create items that require them.
Yeah.
Weird that wasn't a thing before, but that's good.
Yeah, definitely way better. Also, Mark of Darkness can now be recast before it expires.
Love that. Using that a lot. You want to use Mark of
Yes.
Darkness at Yama.
Yeah, I honestly, until just now, thought that they meant the spell that gave you better thieving.
The Shadow Veil.
Yeah,
I knew you'd think that first because you liked that.
I do like it.
I think you made a video or you wanted to make a video on it.
I don't know, but yeah.
He was really into the
I thought
thieving.
about that because I was all like, I like that if that wasn't a thing already, but this is cool too.
There is still a delay before recasting though, so it's not going to be like the best XP if you keep just spamming that.
Yeah.
Snails
Nails as well.
and Mortmire Swamp can now deal damage to players again.
Yeah.
You were immortal for a second, I guess.
Also, Frost Naguas have a slightly increased aggro range, so yeah.
Okay. Fix the bug where other Frost Nagua could start attacking you if the one that you're already in combat with use their special attack. That is so frustrating. I
annoying.
hate when stuff does
That
that.
reminds me of
Gargoyles.
No, oh yeah.
Gargoyles, you move 2 inches away and it's like, oh, you don't care about me anymore? And the other guy's like, what's up?
Gargoyles.
I
I feel
it.
like that happened to me at Demonics too.
I didn't notice it. Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did. It's so annoying.
They also added this is the biggest one of the patch.
I wonder what it sounds like.
They added a new sound effect when obtaining dung from the Tombs of a Mascot reward chest.
I need to hear it. I need to look it up.
Yeah.
Have you heard it?
It's just
It was like a fart.
a really weak fart.
Fix the medium clue step featuring a zookeeper who asks for the number of animals in RD Zoo. I imagine that was very frustrating if you're putting the correct number that keeps saying wrong.
Wrong again.
That is it for the update. A really fun update this week. I'm actually so excited about it.
Damn, that reminded me of Waterboy. Shout out that movie.
You always have to bring up Adam Sandler.
Looks like Mama's wrong again.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's it for Yama.
It's fun. I'm
Pretty good-
excited to do more this weekend.
Pretty good patch.
Also, side note, whenever I go live, I'm going to test out multi-streaming on YouTube at the same time, which I've tried before, but now I guess you can do it through Stream Elements. So I want to try that and maybe even try to stream on TikTok just because why not?
Yeah, so if you're an enjoyer
cool.
of multiple social medias, then maybe check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. We can move on to questions.
One thing real quick.
Oh,
It's not a big deal at all, but
it is a big deal.
the reward pool for the fletching activity is now live in game, by the way. So that closes on May 21st.
Yep. Make sure to vote on how you want to desecrate the friends of Ents.
They're okay with that. Q&A?
Yes.
So first question is from Smooth Lemons. This one's actually from stream. I loved this. Smooth Lemons says you're not allowed to think about it yet. So I was trying very hard not to think about it.
True.
Assuming you had no outside influence from the news or friends or tidal patterns, if the moon disappeared, how long would it take you personally to notice? My impression of this, I had to tell Robert, is we mean aesthetically.
Yeah, because
It would not affect anything.
I figured it would, and I looked it up, and it would
affect
be
stuff.
very noticeable
Pretty quickly.
worldwide.
Yeah.
That being said, it wouldn't be, I from what I saw, it wouldn't be immediately deadly. So you might actually have like a full day before you notice something's totally off.
Okay.
But
if just the appearance of
if
it.
you just were looking up at the sky or something, how long would it take you to realize that the moon was gone? And for me, probably from the time of waking up, maybe immediately.
You think you'd immediately notice?
Well, the thing is, I open our blinds fairly early and almost always can see the moon. I'm usually out early enough that I can see the moon even in the early morning.
But would you actually notice if it was gone?
Potentially, unless it's like overcast, potentially, because I mean, I see the moon fairly regularly in the morning.
Yeah.
Like going to work or just opening the curtain, it's not uncommon for me to see it before most people are awake.
So this would make my answer worse. I think it would take me months.
Really?
I don't ever see the moon.
I mean,
I see the moon sometimes at night, but if I didn't see it, I would assume it was behind clouds.
You can see the moon at like 6 or 7 though.
Yeah, but if it wasn't there at 6 or 7, I wouldn't notice.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would just be bright and I'd be like, oh, I just can't see the moon.
Yeah.
It's not something I really notice.
If it's a clear night and I don't see the moon, I would notice.
Yeah. I would maybe notice if we're out. It would have to be multiple nights though that I didn't see it. Otherwise I'd assume like, oh, it's a new moon or whatever. It's really dark.
Yeah.
But like first day, no, definitely not. I think the way I live my life now, and because it gets dark after I'm home and I leave when it's bright already, I think it would literally take me months.
Let me also be as honest as possible. I don't know if I would tie any significance to it, or I would just be like, the moon's not there. No, I might not think that the moon is literally
you
vanished.
just think like, oh, it's somewhere else in the sky.
Yeah, or yeah, I obviously wouldn't think like the worst situation, the moon is gone.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, oh, the moon's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even if I'd be like, that's weird because the sky is clear and the moon's not there, but obviously I'm not like an astrophysicist. I'm not going to be like, that's alarming. I should call someone.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, okay, what am I going to call the cops about it? Like, I'll just be like, go along with my day, realizing it happened.
I thought it was funny. Matt actually replied to this question as well, saying that's an awesome question. I'd say it'd be 4 weeks before I bring up in a casual conversation like, hey, dude, have you noticed we haven't seen the moon in a while?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever bring it up to anyone other than you, though.
I feel like after a few days, I'd probably be like, say something to someone at work, be like, have you guys seen the moon lately?
I like to imagine everyone be like, oh, no, it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gone.
You didn't hear?
Yeah, I did see one of the things is potentially it would have a rapid swing in seasonal changes. So,
yeah. So that's what I meant. Is
we would quickly find out.
in the hypothetical, I'm imagining nothing would change. Just aesthetically, it's gone.
Yeah. Also, the tides, if you surf at all, would be obvious from the very first second you saw them.
Yeah. So question from Matt, moving on, is related in a way. What is the favorite view that you have ever had in real life?
True.
Matt's is really funny. So mine is when I saw a mountain lion when I was on a trip in the US and I turned to run because it started screaming at me. Also, side note, I don't think you should run from a mountain lion. You're supposed to act big, right?
You're supposed to
Scream.
stare at it the whole time, acting fairly large, not scary, and slowly walking backwards.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't get mauled, man.
Yeah, because
Jesus.
as soon as you turn your back and start running, they see you as prey.
Yeah. So
You're not, but it's not like bears where you're supposed to like try to scare it off, it will not become scared
So
off.
you're supposed to look big and be loud, but back up.
Not necessarily loud, just be big and intimidating and slowly step away. Kind of like if they themselves were facing off against a bear, it would be very standoffish is what you're supposed to be like.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
This is
that's what you're supposed to do. Obviously, I might just run as well, but
yeah. This is wildlife advice from two people who don't go outside much.
true.
We'd probably run realistically. I
Yeah.
think I'd cry.
I think that's the general rule for cats, and for bears, you are supposed to get big and loud.
Unless it's a grizzly bear, in which case you play dead.
Yes, and unless you're near a den, in which case you also just actually die.
Yeah. And if it's a polar bear, you're screwed.
Yes,
They're really
polar bears
aggressive.
are terrifying.
Someone sent a video and stream of them running away from polar bear, shooting at it with like a gun or something, and it still was chasing them. They'd like hop on like a little snowmobile thing and go away.
Yes, polar bears, for people that don't know, are 9 feet tall.
Ah!
Very
Just like
large.
almost as tall as me.
They can easily open car doors by force.
And they're very aggressive.
They are.
You know what? I might be aggressive if global warming was taking me on my food.
Yes.
Have you consider they're hangry?
They are
They
upset.
want a little snack.
Yeah. Yeah, polar bears are not a joke. Luckily, you probably will not be running into them.
Continuing on Matt's, I literally stopped mid-sentence. So I turned to run because it started screaming at me, and I saw a bathroom at the camping site about 50 meters away. I immediately knew that was my lifesaver. So my favorite view was a bathroom.
Okay.
I feel like that's valid though. You know what? It maybe saved your life.
Yeah, maybe you needed it right then anyways.
Probably not. You probably shit your pants. I would if it
True.
was screaming at me.
True.
Otherwise, it was probably skiing in France. Some of the views in the Alps are awesome. So either that or bathroom. It's like
Same thing.
same
really.
thing, really.
I mean, there was the different kind of slopes going on. You know what I'm saying?
Why would you say that? Harger's response to that, by the way. Mine is probably the closed mailbox of my advisor after I slipped my physical copy of my master's thesis into it and never saw that shit again. I like that.
Nice.
Mine, I don't have any like little like cool memories. I'm just like thinking of pretty things. I mean, they're cool, but they're like standard nice views. Crater Lake was one of the prettiest views.
Yeah, I was gonna say Crater Lake.
Were you gonna say
probably.
Crater Lake?
It's either Crater Lake or God's Thumb.
Oh my gosh, God's Thumb is a hike in Oregon and it's so pretty. We happened to go at golden hour.
We did.
It was so beautiful. We thought we were gonna get murdered on the way back.
It was very dark.
There was no one there, middle of the woods. So creepy.
And this trail is unmanaged and on someone's property.
It's someone's private property, so they just like leave it, but they let people go on it, you know?
Yeah.
So we weren't like
It
trespassing.
wasn't managed very well at all.
We were climbing over tree
there
trunks.
was like 5 felled trees on the trail.
You know what's funny? In hindsight, I don't think we acknowledged how crazy it was that we're having to climb over felled trees.
And they were not small
nuts.
trees. They were like redwoods.
No, like having like both of our legs were up whenever we were climbing over them.
Yeah.
It was a hard hike, and it had rained recently, so it was like super muddy, and I kept falling climbing up the hill.
And then as we were leaving, it being incredibly sus and dark, a family just
A
pulled
family
up.
like dogs.
Yeah, family just pulls up.
I remember there's also someone I bet it's like I bet they do like vlogging. There
Oh,
was
it was
like
the bus.
yeah, there's people in a school bus, and you could tell that they lived in it.
It was retrofitted.
Yeah, like a young couple with like 3 dogs.
But they did have a like a little Instagram sticker on there.
Oh, they did, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's very funny to also think about how you can change the vibe so easily based on your own perspective, because I wasn't creeped out at all until Robert was like, I don't like this. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't like this either.
Yeah, it was
But until
weird.
then, I was like, this is kind of cool. We're alone, kind of sick. And then after he said that, I was like, we're alone. Oh my God, no one would even hear us if we screamed.
No, definitely not. There was no one else there.
Yeah. But solid advice, if you are hiking, tell people your hikes. Every hike we went on, I texted my family before and texted them after and was like, if I don't text you guys after, like within like a day, be concerned.
True.
Yeah. But check out God's Thumb. Very cool. And Crater Lake was the closest I've ever felt at wanting to cry because something was so pretty.
Oh, okay.
Yosemite, also beautiful. Every national park we've been to, amazing. But Crater Lake, for some reason, when we were at the top of, I think it was like the Garfield hike or something.
Yeah.
So
It was the
freaking
Garfield Trail.
cool.
Yeah.
It was so pretty.
Very pretty.
I'm glad that we both chose the same one though. That's cool.
Well, I mean, you said that. I said God's Thumb.
God's Thumb
and then you
was-
took mine.
No, God's Thumb was like really, really cool.
Yeah.
I should post pictures on Discord to show you guys.
But yeah.
Anyway, now I want to go on a hike. Last question.
Also, the canals at Amsterdam, pretty nice.
The canals.
Yeah.
It was fun whenever we were in Amsterdam. I like to say that to annoy people on stream. It's like every single alley that we passed by was so pretty. It probably isn't pretty if you live there, you know, but for us, it was like beautiful. It's just like there's like pretty like graffiti and plants and like stray cats. And I'm like, why is this like the most scenic thing I've ever seen in my life? Whereas ours are just trash and nothing.
True.
So it was really pretty. Next question.
Yeah, the next question is from Harger.
Yeah. So should Jagex change its logo? It looks extremely similar to the X logo, and the UK hates Musk. It's okay. The US also hates Musk.
Yeah.
We do.
I think it
I never
looks
considered that it looks similar. I honestly, aside from it looking like X, the Jagex logo is a little too simple for me.
Yeah.
I kind of like something a little more pizzazz. But I also hate the X one. I think that the Twitter bird was really cute.
I feel like they could do something that's like a combination of JG very easily.
Yeah, why did they just want the X?
Yeah, the X is weird. Like, it's not, no one's ever been like, oh, like, no one's ever called Jagex X or anything like that. Like,
I don't think it's always been this. I think it's more their modern take.
no, yeah, that's definitely their modern take.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it could be more than just X, because if you showed me it, I wouldn't know that it was Jagex.
If you show me the
Right.
Twitter logo, I might assume that it was Jagex.
Yeah.
Based on my knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not identifying, and I feel like it should be, especially as a gaming company. You're not like a designer brand or something.
I kind of wish it was more like Sony style. I just like how there's just like big letters, very recognizable.
Well,
I wouldn't mind if just Jagex.
Sony's logo is.
I thought it said Sony.
No.
What's?
They have several logos. It depends.
Okay, well I'm thinking of one that just says maybe it's not even Sony.
Oh no, it could be Sony.
EA's easy.
I was thinking of PlayStation for a second.
Oh, PlayStation.
Well, no, the PlayStation is like, it's like a big logo. It actually doesn't say anything.
Oh no, I'm very okay with logos that have the name on it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a long name. You know, Bunebape's a long name. If our logo said Bunebape, that's much longer than Jagex.
Yeah, I feel like they'd benefit from doing like a coach style where it's like a couple letters, making it simple. Because I don't know.
It could be even just like JGX. You know,
yeah, something.
take away the vowels. But I think that a lot of like, it seems like very finance bro, like minimalist style.
The thing is,
which is what they want.
I think by design, like actually speaking as like a designer, it's terrible because I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And if I don't know what it is,
it
as
presumes that
knows,
you acknowledge it, or you already know what it is.
Yeah,
before you see
I know what this is, and I still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what you mean.
Like if a new player was like, oh, this X, oh, Jagex, oh, they make RuneScape, oh, like it shouldn't take that many steps.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it should be like the same as when you see CC, you're like, okay, I know what that is. If I see G, or
yeah, we're a big game, but we're not that established where you can recognize us by an X.
Like if I see the Gucci stuff, I know what the Gucci stuff is. You
Yeah.
know, if I see LV, I know what that is. Like that's different.
We need to have a longer name.
Yeah.
But the Jagex one, it has been around longer than the X one, just to put that out there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it looks terrible. They should change it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all.
I've not been loving the minimalist as much.
No, me neither.
Yeah. Even our logo, I'm so torn because we talked about changing our logo. I'm like scared that if we changed it too much, people wouldn't know who we were and like wouldn't click our episodes.
All right, what we need to do is 2 capybaras side by side, but the capybaras somehow line up to look like BB.
Like mutated capybaras.
No, like it's like a scenery, but like the outlined part is the BB.
Maybe. I would love input for what you guys think is cool for logos, because I also don't know how much detail you want in a podcast logo.
Oh, you know what
I mean?
You know what it could be? It could be 2 capybaras, profile view.
Yeah.
So the top of each B is just their head, because that's fairly B shaped, like a, kind of rectangular. And then the bottom part will just, it'll be filled in by like environment.
Yeah.
But it'll, be 2 capybaras profile and somehow be BB.
We're like capybaras.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell. We're still gonna think about, I literally have started like
Boonbara.
writing stuff down. Boonbara. So there's a little mascot.
But yeah, so that's it. If you want to have any input on what our profile logo should be,
Please let us know ideas.
yeah, feel free to let us know on any of our socials.
Yeah, our Twitch and our Twitter and TikTok are Bunebape osrs. Our Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky are all just Bunebape. I stream 4 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. Some days 5 now, maybe, because I have my hours cut. Side note, I have an interview next week, but it's for a different per diem position, so I'll be working 2 part-time jobs that would accommodate each other. I don't know how that would work, but anyway, stop by the stream. I'm hopefully gonna also go live on YouTube, maybe on TikTok, just to try it out. I don't know if that's something I'll do long term though. Just want to try it for fun because I have the free time.
Yeah, that's it. Also, feel free to ask us questions in any of those places. So thanks again for...
Wait, and if you like us, follow us on Spotify.
Yeah. Follow us, and thank you for listening. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. And if you did, we'll see you all
very soon. Bye-bye.